Welcome to another episode, Astral Auto Repairs. Can you dig it? Alright, this is part 4 of rebuilding this engine on a 2003 Nissan Maxima GLE. As you can see, you know, every time what you don't see is when we end the videos, is every night before we finish, you know, we wrap this engine up in plastic. If you're going to have something outside, wrap it up in plastic, especially if it's something that's going to be running the engine, transmission or anything like that. We got the transmission down here, that's wrapped up in plastic, and this is wrapped up in plastic. Alright, in part 4, what we're going to do is, once I remove this plastic, we're going to show you how to set the timing marks before we remove the crank. Alright? It's very important because this is an interference engine, which means you set this timing wrong, them pistons are going to come up, smack them valves, pulling these heads off, and a whole lot of headache. You know, take your time, do this job right, you know, follow the steps, and we'll walk you right through this. Alright, so let's get this plastic off of here and get everything and turn this engine so it sets right. So it's set straight up. Okay. So we'll quick side. Lock in place. We got an oil spill right here. Get our pan up under there. This piece of plastic we're gonna throw away. It ain't no good no more. Alright, let me get some tools, get you some sockets, metric, 1/2-inch drive, 3/8 drive with some ratchets to go with it. Alright, then we're going to set this timing up, take off the oil pump, remove this crank. We'll be right back. Okay, here we are at the front of the engine. Let's back this up a little bit. Front cover's off. Now, before we start setting up these timing marks, let me show you what I want you to do here. You got the valve covers, right? And then you got the cam controlling valves, one on each side. Let's mark those first. Okay, now remember, the right side, now this is considered the right side, is as if you're standing from behind the engine. So we're going to mark this. This is going to be the right one. And we're going to go around here. And a little oil up here. This is going to be the left one. Alright, now we also remember that we got a bad coil here. And because I know it'll change around, so I know this coil right here is no good. So let's make sure I put an X on that coil. I know that coil is bad and we got to replace that. So what I want you to do now is we're going to take off both valve covers, both cam control solenoids, and as you can see there's a hose going between them two, between the two valve covers. And this one over here looks like it's got a crack in it already, but what we're going to do is take off the coils, 10mm bolts on each side, and then there's 10mm bolts on the valve covers. Alright, so let's get that done. Take off the cam control solenoids, put the bolts back, as you can see on this one already here, where we started that. So I'm going to take those off and do that, and then we're going to do the coils and then the valve covers. Let's get that done. We'll be right back. Let's disconnect these coils first. notice, it looks like somebody had some silicone on these. Gonna put them, clean that up and put them back. Notice I'm putting the bolts back as I'm taking them off. Make sure all the bolts are out. Looks like we got a little harness going over here to the fuel injectors. Just gonna squeeze them little tabs in. Keep that harness over there. This harness looks like we're gonna keep this with it. Unplug this cam sensor in the back. Remember this hose going over to the other valve cover. Squeeze that off. Okay, looks like going right here. Okay, we take that off, and here we go. Got that right off of there. It's looking real good. All right. Let's get that other side off. Same thing. Put the bolts back in. The camshaft adjusting valves, solenoids. And when we come back, we're going to be set up for the front. Okay, we're back. Now, I'm going to show you something here on some timing marks before we remove this crank. Number one, let's set the crank up. See the keyway right there? And you see that mark right there? Line those two up. When you get those two lined up, now don't worry about the colored links on the chain yet. All right, don't worry about those yet. And back there, don't worry about that. Come over here on your right bank. Both first lobes should be looking just like that. All right, but you know, get that at least lined up. Don't worry about the other side, but definitely get that. And now, we're going to have us a little fun here. Now the fun starts. Now, what I want you to do here is that's tensioner right here. Yeah, let's get that back a little bit. We're going to remove this tensioner slowly and get this chain off. Don't bother those two chains yet. Don't bother these two chains. Those, and actually they like to consider them cassettes. Don't worry about that yet. What we're going to do is do that one first. All right, let's get us a 10 millimeter. Now we're going to replace everything up here, all these chains, but right now, I'm just worrying about this main chain. Man, this weather out here, hay fever, allergies is not good. Alright, let's keep a little tension up there. You see this? See that's coming out like that? Alright. Let's put these, as you know, I like to put the bolts back in there. Set this to the side. Now we got enough room to get that chain off of there. Just about. Okay, we don't have to do. Let's make this. Okay, let's get that off. Can you see that? Let's make sure you got a good view of this. Okay. Now as you can see, we got that chain off of there. Okay, you ain't got to worry about taking the guide off up here yet and all that. Okay, we're going to get that off soon. Now, the next thing we're going to do is, let's get a little better look over here. We're going to remove that oil pump. Now to remove the oil pump, we got 1, 2, 3 bolts. Let's get this chain out of the way. Looks okay. Looks like we got 3 bolts up here. I want to make sure nothing else, no other bolts, is holding this in place. Do not remove the Phillips screws. It's for them. Do not remove those. Just the 3 10mm bolts right there. You know, before we do that, let's get this socket off here. Try not to turn this too much. What you're going to do is try to shock it. I'm going to use an air gun to take it loose, but what you would do is take a ratchet or something like this, and you hit it real hard to snap it loose, and try not to turn that crank. Okay, because we noticed that the oil pump is not going to come off there if we got the gear and everything on. So let's slide that crank gear off. Now you notice that there's a little part that's sticking to the front of it. Make sure you can see this. There's a little part that's sticking out to the front. That's the front of the gear, and also a little timing mark right there. It's not on the back, it's on the front. So you know that goes the front way. Alright, let's get those 3 bolts off, 10mm. See if it loosens up a little bit. Yeah, it's going. Pay attention to these bolts, make sure none of them is longer than the other. Okay, 2 on this side, same size. And 1 over here. Okay, all 3 of them are the same. So let's try to walk this, because it's gonna set in like a slot. Let's try to walk this off of here. There we go. Pops right off. Little dowel pins that was holding it on. Alright, what we're going to do, stick those bolts back in there. So it makes it easier for us when we're putting that back together. Okay, we're just about there. Alright, now what I want you to do, take the engine, turn the engine completely upside down, so we can remove the rest of the bolts and get this cranked out of there. Alright, turn it upside down and I'll meet you there. Be right back. Okay, here we go. Now we don't got it completely upside down. Usually I would, but I wanted to put it at this angle so pretty much you can see what's going on here better. Now we got what they're called reversible Torx. There's these little sockets right here, like a Torx, but they reverse. These bolts here are 14. It's called B14. Now we're not going to worry about the connecting rods first, because it'd be easier if we get the carrier right out the way. Now I could use the air tools, but what I want to do is get that and break them loose. With the ratchet first. You know they're really torqued, so you don't want to hit no. air gun on this. And you want to go to the outside, these four, then these four, then these four. You want to work it like that. All right, you get a 1/2 inch because these things are really tight. All right, let's get those loosened up, and then when we come back, we're going to get the air gun and finish it off, taking it apart. All right, let's get it done. Okay, I got all my loose. Hey, this is very important. Like the tool I'm using, it's a Matco. Use Snap-on, Craftsman. Do not get a cheap brand, or you will strip those right out, and you will be in a world of trouble. Then you be calling Astro. Go ahead, help me get this strip bolt out of here. I'm gonna charge you $100 just to do it. All right. All right, now I got them all loose. Now I can go around with the air gun. Make it just quicker for me to. Okay. Now, what you want to do is, you want to try to notice, is there a front and a back? And it looks like there's a little difference from right here. But, you know, just to be on the safe side, what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark it. Clean this up right here. And I know this is the front of the engine when I go to put this back together. And just in case something happens to that, I know my little indentation right here is back here. All right, let's get this thing up. There we go. Got it. Let's get that and put it to the side. Now you have the actual crankshaft little things right here. The rod, the connecting rod caps. You want to wipe them off. And these are also called, you can call them the main bearing caps. And I'm looking at it, there's an arrow on each of them, which way it faces, and they're numbered 4, 3, 2, 1. So I know they go just like that. So let's get them out of there. You can see they're coming out pretty easy by hand. All right, let's get these out of here, and then we come back, we're gonna loosen up the connecting rods. All right, we'll be right back. All right, take a look at what we got here so far. Okay, that's the whole crank right there, silver part and all that. Now we got to do is loosen up the rod bearing, connecting rod caps, 6 of them. But before we do that, let me go over here and show you something now. Over here we got, you can see it, 1, 2, 3, and number 4. On the number 3, there's thrust washers. Be very careful. Okay, here we have number 3. Now you see, now here number 4. You see nothing but smooth around there on both sides. So dirt right there, smooth on both sides. But number 3, see that little thrust washer? Remember those, okay? Now there's a little spot right here for oil to come through, and then it's on the other side is completely flat. The completely flat side goes up against the main bearing cap, and that washer, thrust washer, is on both sides. the slots face on the outside. So just want you to remember that for purposes of putting this back together. All right, let's put these in line. Yeah, you're gonna give me a hard time. There you go. You stay just like that. Now we're gonna get new thrust washers with the new crank and all that. Let's go back over here to our engine. All right, now let's get these connecting by rod bearing caps loosened up. We'll be right back. Okay, I got the camera set up in a different position, trying to get you a better look at this. Okay, now we're going to do the connecting rod bolts. They're 12-point sockets. These are 10mm 12-point sockets. So got like that. But before we do that, what you do is take a little rag, 6 of them, wipe off the bottom of the caps on each of them. Then we're going to take our marker. Now these caps, if you notice, like this one right here, you see a little indentation sticking out right there, protrusion right there. We know that's going to go towards the front of the engine. So that's all we have to do is just start marking them. We're going to put a little dot, 2, you know, just want to mark each of them. Now we know in the order they go in. All right, then we're going to take our 12-point 10mm. Let's see, for those down there in the front, I'm going to have to get an extension. Gonna loosen them up. All right, go down the line, get all them. Now some of them, it might be hard to get to. You might have to use a wrench or turn the crank just enough to get those ones in that. You should only have 2. That's going to be a problem. One right here and one up here. And that's what you do, is turn that crank just enough to get it in there. What's a good thing to do is get a universal 3/8 drive 10mm socket to get in there even better. Then I'm using a 1/2" drive that reduces it down to that. But let's get that done and we'll be right back. Okay, I just got most of mine loose. Now I just got to get those other 2. Now the problem here is you don't want to turn the crank and hit these pistons up against those valves, or you'll have a serious problem here. So what I'm doing is losing a little common sense. Now these connecting rods are almost up, so I know that piston is all the way back, so I ain't got to worry about this one at all. I got a lot of room. This one right here now, that's close. So what I want to do is I want to turn the crank clockwise to get to that one. All right, and this one I got a little room to go down a little bit, so I'm not worried about it. And number 1 is at top dead center. It ain't going nowhere no matter what, as long as that stays just like it is. So what we're going to do here is we're going to tighten this. Can you see that? Yeah, we're going to get the air gun and we're going to tighten this up, because we're going to be going reverse on this. Not crazy, just enough. Just try to hold it right there and okay. Now it looks like I can turn that by hand. Just like that. I know that ain't going nowhere. Just like I said, everything's good. Now this one right here, I don't want to bring that any more than what it is. Now, to make this one easy, what we're going to do, because we got to go back the other way, we're going to completely remove this bolt. Now, I'm going to go back just enough to get that other one. Now that we got that, let's go ahead, remove all the caps, keep them in order. Get this back over here, keep them in order. And get ready to yank this crank out of here. We'll be right back. Okay, we got all the bolts out. Now, a couple ways of doing this. Sometimes you can just take a little hammer, you shock them loose, bearing cap will come right off. They're just tapping them, okay? Don't be going crazy. And you like that one down there. It's like hard to get to. See if I can get this one. So I got a little thing right here. I'm just gonna comes right up. Okay, got two more to go. And the last one. Okay, number one. Now, if you followed my instructions pretty carefully now, which I know you did, you take a look around. That crankshaft should be ready to pick up right out of there. Look at that, there we go. Let's get this set onto the side. And there we have it. Now we got the old bearings inside of here and all. We're going to get those out. Now putting this back together, your number one friend is going to be carburetor cleaner. So when we go to part 5, you make sure you have at least about 5 cans of carburetor cleaner and some white lithium grease. Okay, let me just set these up and get these bearings out of here. You know, you could just go around, take these bearings, take the old bearings out of there. The main bearings. Make sure there's no difference in them. It doesn't like it is. Matter of fact, just for argument's sake, let's leave the main bearings in there. Let's just get those all those rod bearings out of there. Okay, get those out and we'll be right back. Okay, we got all those connecting rods out, the rod bearings out. Now, 1, 2, 3. Remember those thrust washers on the main bearing caps? Number 3, you know, if it's going to be on one side, it's going to be on the other. See that? You notice this one, check this out now, it's got a little tang on the end of it. I'm going to make sure that tang also. And it looks like in the block, there's a little indentation where it's going to set it. But we're going to leave those alone. But remember those. They're going to come with the new crank and everything. Remember to put those little thrust washers. You got to have those in there. All right? Okay. Matter of fact, what we're going to do is, because we know it's there, we'll take these out. See them? One on the left, one on the right. Smooth side, groove side. The groove side goes away from the block. Okay, and we'll be right back. Man, looking good here. All right, that's the conclusion to part 4. I don't know, man. Dang, it'll be so many. There's gonna be so many parts of this video. Alright, this is the conclusion of part 4. Part 5, we're gonna start putting in the new crank and get that all situated. Part 6, we're gonna put the timing chain on. Part 7, we're gonna start putting the outside on. It's gonna be 8, 9, I don't know, about 12 parts of this thing. But again, make sure you have at least 5 cans of carburetor cleaner and a little tub of white lithium grease. Okay, this job is coming out really well. I'm very satisfied with it, happy with it. Customer's gonna be very happy with it. This is Timmy from Astral Auto Repairs. If we can't repair it, nobody can. Take care. I'm gonna get a new piece of plastic and wrap this up. Get ready for our next part. Take it easy.